Hi, my name is Caitlin Webb, and this is my reflection for Web 2.0. While I was watching the video from Professor Wesch's lecture, the one thing that stood out to me the most was how quickly the information that we post on the web can be transferred all throughout. It can be transferred through YouTube, through social media, email. It can go from one side of the world to the other side of the world in less than 24 hours. And I really thought that that was kind of crazy. The main focus of that video is going through and analyzing the videos that are posted on YouTube and how one video can spark multiple videos to be made off of that one video. For example, the Charlie video with the two kids. Many people redid that video over and over again because it was so funny. One thing that I started to think about was that if you do lectures on video, are the students really watching it, and are they really retaining the information that you're teaching, or are they just saying that they're watching those videos and not even really paying any attention? And while one of the students that were in his class recorded herself on video, she said that she has her own image of how she acts around people and how she has herself trained to act around different people. Whereas it's not the same whenever she's by herself. However, if you are talking to a computer screen, you kind of have the tendency to act like yourself or act like the person that you are alone. So people see a different side of you, whereas if you were having a conversation with a person face to face, you might put on that facade that you're not really that person, and people might think of you as a different person. While I was going through and searching for a podcast, the thing that I found interesting is that a lot of the TED Talks are considered podcasts, and those are really informational, and they go through and they break down step by step the information that they are trying to teach you. And the podcast that I watched is 4 Reasons to Learn Another Language by John McWhorter. And the most important thing that he said is if you learn more than one language, then you have a bigger worldview. You can go to different countries and you can talk to different people. Whereas if you only know one language, which English is becoming a more popular language, you won't be able to communicate. But eventually we are all going to be able to communicate with one another because English is becoming the majority of the language spoke across the entire world. Mr. McWhorter also said that if you do learn another language, you are less likely to develop dementia at an older age, as well as you become a better multitasker. So it would be more important to be bilingual or even trilingual to learn another language, to be able to communicate with different people across the world that are not as familiar with speaking English and are not taught English at an early age or ever in their life. They're used to only speaking one language, and that's what they learn off of. The broadcasting that I used was the Dig app, and I did not find that very useful. I didn't really understand how to import my video that I was watching off of the internet and put it onto the Dig website. So I didn't know if that was something that we had to use. However, if there were to ever be a situation where I would have to go through on Dig and find different videos and different podcasts and different things of that sort, I could be able to bookmark them onto my Dig app and view them for later retrieval. I do not think that it would be useful to use social media and stuff like that for younger grades such as preschool through 6th grade or even 7th grade because the maturity level really isn't there. So they would go on and they would be using it as like that opportunity to either cyberbully or play around on Facebook and talk to their friends, they wouldn't be taking it serious to interact with their classmates and learn the different lessons. However, I do think that every once in a while using a podcast to teach a lesson is really important, because they would be able to learn it from a different perspective, where a teacher only learns so much. They could use another person's view, and the podcast could be their teacher for the day. And then the teacher of the class would be able to interact with that and grow off of what they learned and be able to make different assignments off of that. Overall, I think that today was a really good lesson, because I learned how to find podcasts, I learned how to find a broadcasting ad or app, and I also learned that social media is becoming a lot more important during schools.